Okay, step number 6, guys, raising money. Raising the money for a commercial deal is, in my opinion, the most exciting part. The reason is almost every single deal is just a little bit different. Sometimes deals are financed through conventional lenders. Sometimes they're seller financed. Sometimes it's a combination. And sometimes it's just done in a very creative way. It all depends on what makes the most sense for any particular deal. The most important thing to understand about financing for commercial transactions is it is always a combination of equity and debt. And the reason that I use the word equity first is because the more equity you bring to the table, the easier it is to get the debt. Now, what's the difference between equity and debt? Well, equity is capital invested. Debt is money borrowed. 100% of the transaction has to come to the table. If it's $1 million deal, you have to bring $1 million to the table at closing. Now, maybe the $1 million that you bring to the table at closing is $500,000 in equity that you and a group of investors put together in cash to buy this particular property. Maybe the other $500,000 that you bring to the table is in the form of a note that's held by the seller. It's still 100% of the money that's brought to the table. It's just brought to the table in different ways. Maybe it's $500,000 in equity that you brought to the table in cash, and the other $500,000 is conventional financing through a banking institution. Maybe the seller was offered the opportunity to stay in the deal, so you open up an LLC that is owned by you and the seller, and you bring some cash to the table, and the seller brings the deal to the table, and that's how the new organization or entity buys this transaction. Guys, financing becomes very exciting because there's so many different ways to finance a deal, and one of the most important parts of the Real Deal program is the part where we actually spend time on financing commercial deals. I like to look at Gary Tharp as the master because I've watched Gary Tharp work. He and I have been friends for 25 years. I've watched him work in the commercial arena for 25 years. And there are some people who sit down and think about new and better ways to do things. Gary Tharp sits down and thinks about new and better ways to finance commercial deals. It's just fun to watch him work, and it's fun to see deals come together in new and exciting ways. You're going to have a great time with this because it will blow you away how some deals are.